The Ilyushin Il-114-300, Russia's latest regional turboprop, is currently approaching the final phase of development, which many in the Russian aviation industry consider to be the critical final stage before certification and serial deliveries. The aircraft has already completed the majority of its flight test campaign, including Arctic testing, low-temperature evaluations in Yakutia, and preparations for hot weather trials. However, one issue still keeps coming back into the conversation again and again: the placement of the engines. For decades, the Antonov An-24 and Antonov An-26 families formed the backbone of regional aviation across remote Russian territories. These aircraft used a high-wing configuration with engines mounted much higher above the ground. Pilots became used to operating from gravel strips, muddy airfields, snow-covered runways, and rough terrain without constantly worrying about debris being sucked into the engines. And honestly, that kind of confidence becomes second nature after years of flying in brutal conditions. The IL-114-300 follows a very different philosophy. It is a low-wing turboprop aircraft, which means its engines sit much closer to the runway surface compared to the Antonov family. That single design choice has now become one of the most debated operational questions surrounding the aircraft's future. And the thing is, this debate is no longer just technical. It has become psychological too. Pilots from the regional carrier Aviation have publicly acknowledged that they still have concerns about how the aircraft may behave during long-term operations on rough or semi-prepared runways. According to Russian reports, the transition is significant because these crews spent decades flying Antonov high-wing aircraft. Moving into a completely different design philosophy is not something pilots simply accept overnight. At Altitude Addicts, we've noticed that regional pilots across Russia are less worried about avionics or comfort and far more focused on survivability in harsh operating conditions. And this naturally brings the conversation toward why engine placement matters so much in the first place. In regional aviation, especially in northern Russia, Siberia, and the Far East, engine positioning affects almost everything. Safety, maintenance, operating costs, runway survivability, and long-term reliability all become tied to where those engines are mounted. The Soviet-era Antonov aircraft were specifically designed for rough field operations. Their high-mounted engines reduced the probability of stones, dirt, snow, loose gravel, or chunks of ice being sucked into the propellers and engine intakes. This made them ideal for isolated settlements with primitive airstrips. Some of these runways are honestly little more than hardened dirt, with markings painted onto them. Nevertheless, the IL-114-300 places its engines lower because it follows a more modern aerodynamic and efficiency-oriented approach. Globally, this configuration is actually very common. Aircraft such as the ATR-72 and the de Havilland Canada-8 also use relatively low-mounted engines. So Russia is not doing something radically strange here. But Russia's operating environment is very different from Western Europe or North America. Russian operators are now asking whether the IL-114-300 can successfully combine modern efficiency with the legendary ruggedness traditionally associated with Antonov aircraft. That is really the core of the debate. Can a modern aircraft still survive the same punishment as a Soviet workhorse? Which leads directly into the biggest fear among pilots: foreign object damage, commonly known in aviation as FOD. When engines are positioned closer to the ground, the likelihood increases that rotating propellers may throw debris upward or that engines may ingest loose material from the runway surface. Stones, ice fragments, sand, mud, gravel, and snow chunks all become potential hazards during taxiing, takeoff, or landing. The condition of runways in remote Russian regions is often inconsistent. Some airfields receive only minimal maintenance, especially during spring thaw seasons or brutal Arctic winters. And this is where the discussion becomes very real for crews actually operating these aircraft. A pilot can tolerate inconvenience. What they do not tolerate is uncertainty. For pilots accustomed to high-wing Antonovs, the IL-114-300 represents both a technological and cultural shift. Another concern involves propeller clearance. Low-mounted propellers operating close to uneven terrain may face higher risks during rough landings or operations from damaged runways. It sounds simple when explained on paper, but operationally it changes how crews think during every approach. Winter operations create an additional layer of concern. Russia's northern aviation sector regularly operates in blizzard conditions and extreme cold where loose snow can aggressively swirl around the aircraft during taxiing and takeoff. Snow ingestion into engines is therefore another issue pilots continue to discuss. And yes, this may sound like a small detail to outsiders, but in Arctic aviation, small details can become very expensive problems. Still, despite all these concerns, the low wing configuration also brings major advantages. Aerodynamic efficiency is one of the biggest benefits. Low-wing aircraft generally provide smoother airflow characteristics and more optimized wing structures. This translates into improved fuel efficiency and lower operating expenses. Russian industry sources say the IL-114-300 was designed to compete economically with aircraft like the ATR-72. Lower fuel consumption matters enormously because regional airlines often operate on extremely thin profit margins. Saving fuel on every flight can determine whether routes remain commercially viable or disappear altogether. Maintenance accessibility is another major advantage. Engines mounted lower are usually easier for ground crews to inspect and service because they do not require massive maintenance platforms or tall ladders. For remote regional operators with limited infrastructure, easier maintenance can become a huge operational benefit. It is not glamorous, but practical realities often decide whether an aircraft succeeds. The low-wing design also improves cabin accessibility. The IL-114-300 was engineered for autonomous operations at underdeveloped airports and includes an integrated air stair. Lower-mounted engines may also improve stability characteristics while reducing certain structural complexities compared to some high-wing arrangements. And now we arrive at what UAC and Rostec are saying publicly about all of this. Russian aviation officials are clearly aware of the concerns surrounding engine placement. Instead of dismissing criticism, manufacturers appear determined to prove the aircraft's capabilities through extensive testing campaigns. Russian officials have confirmed that the IL-114-300 will undergo a dedicated series of dirt and ground runway trials beginning in 2026. These tests are specifically intended to determine whether the aircraft can realistically replace the An-24 and An-26 families in real-world rough-field operations. According to UAC statements, the aircraft was designed from the beginning to operate from poorly equipped airports, including dirt and semi-prepared runways. The company repeatedly emphasizes reinforced landing gear, durable onboard systems, specialized propeller design, autonomous airport operation capability, and the ability to operate from short runways. UAC also stresses that the IL-114-300 was never intended to be a literal copy of the Antonov philosophy. Instead, it is meant to represent a modern Russian regional aircraft that balances efficiency, comfort, and ruggedness. At Altitude Addicts, one thing we keep noticing is that Russian messaging around this aircraft focuses heavily on proving toughness rather than simply advertising modern technology. Rostec officials, meanwhile, continue highlighting that the aircraft has already demonstrated operations in harsh environments, including Arctic conditions and snow-covered runways. The company appears determined to show that the IL-114-300 is capable of surviving conditions many modern regional aircraft rarely encounter. And honestly, the upcoming dirt runway trials may become the defining moment for the entire program. The commercial future of the aircraft could ultimately depend on those tests. If the IL-114-300 proves capable of operating reliably from gravel and dirt airfields, it may become the backbone of Russian regional aviation for decades. Russia faces a unique geographic challenge. Thousands of settlements across Siberia, the Arctic, and the Far East rely on aviation links as essential infrastructure. Many of these regions cannot economically support large modern airports with pristine concrete runways. In these places, rugged turboprops are not luxuries. They are lifelines. Meanwhile, the Antonov fleet continues aging rapidly. Spare parts are becoming increasingly difficult to obtain, and many aircraft are nearing the end of their operational lives. Russia, therefore, urgently needs a domestic replacement capable of filling that role. This is why the IL-114-300 program carries strategic significance beyond commercial aviation alone. It is deeply connected to regional connectivity, Arctic development, and Russia's broader effort to reduce dependence on foreign aircraft. There is also a major psychological factor involved here: pilot trust. Regional aviation crews develop deep confidence in aircraft they operate for decades. The Antonov family earned a legendary reputation for toughness, and many pilots spend entire careers learning exactly how those aircraft behave on snow, mud, gravel, and ice. Consequently, the IL-114-300 must overcome not only technical scrutiny, but also emotional skepticism. Russian aviation officials appear fully aware of this reality. Much of the public messaging around the aircraft emphasizes ruggedness, rather than focusing exclusively on avionics or fuel efficiency. The repeated emphasis on Arctic testing, remote airfield capability, and dirt runway trials is likely intended to convince pilots as much as regulators. And honestly, that may be the hardest certification process of all. Ultimately, the controversy surrounding engine placement reflects a deeper debate within Russian aviation itself. Should regional aircraft prioritize maximum ruggedness at any cost, as many Soviet designs once did? Or should they evolve toward globally competitive efficiency standards while still maintaining acceptable rough field capability? The IL-114-300 attempts to occupy a middle ground between those two worlds. It does not completely replicate the ultra-rugged philosophy of the Antonov high-wing family, but it also does not follow the purely commercial Western model designed mainly for paved airports. That balancing act is extremely difficult. Even Russian commentators acknowledge that aircraft such as the ATR family still possess stronger global operational maturity and established service networks. Nevertheless, supporters argue that the IL-114-300 is being optimized specifically for Russia's extreme regional environment. And at altitude ATICs, this may actually be the most important point in the entire debate. Today, the engine placement issue has effectively become symbolic of the aircraft's final hurdle before certification. The avionics have been modernized. The TV7-117ST-01 engines have been certified. Arctic tests have been completed. Production infrastructure is being prepared. Certification is approaching rapidly. But Russian operators still want proof that the aircraft can survive daily punishment on primitive runways, the same way the Antonovs did for generations. If the IL-114-300 successfully completes those trials, it could finally establish itself as Russia's next true regional workhorse. If not, concerns regarding the low-mounted engines may continue following the aircraft long after certification. We thank the people who have liked, subscribed the channel, and shared the videos. I also thank the channel membership for encouraging us. Last but not least, we also thank the viewers who have hyped our videos.